Messages to all parents, including grandparents, aunties, uncles. So basically, this message is for everyone. I don't know if you have a child who was born preterm, or a child that, is struggling in school, or is having some sort of assessment or something done in school. So I have a son who was born preterm, 28 weeks and 3 days, okay? And he's 5 now, so thank God for that. We've gone through that whole phase of him being in the incubator and ITU and all that stuff, and he's doing great basically. So when he was 3, I took him to a nursery, thinking that at that point, he was okay. He's picked up quite well. I mean, he doesn't have any official diagnosis of anything, so he's been fine. Basically, he had a hole in heart, it's sealed. He had chronic lung disease. He was fine. He was off oxygen. He's doing great. Okay, great, fantastic. Then I take him to this nursery, thinking it will help him with his development and obviously interacting with other people as well. He goes to this nursery, and you would not believe it. Every single day he was in the nursery. He was in the nursery from September, and I had to take him out somewhere in February the following year. It was complaints. I was told he was aggressive, he was hitting other people, he wasn't sharing, he was throwing his toys at people. Basically, that this boy was a nightmare in the nursery. Mind you, I'm a healthcare professional and a mother at that, so I keep an extra eye on him. He's at home, he's got other siblings, he's not aggressive, and I'm not in denial. I know someone would say, oh, you're in denial, maybe your son is doing that. No, I'm one of those no-nonsense mothers. If my son needs help, I'll be the first person out there crying and shouting and screaming to get help for him, because I know the services that are out there that I can actually tap into. So I would not be protecting my son. But the person they were describing from that nursery and my son were two complete different people. At one point I thought, does he have bipolar? Is he got different personalities? Because they were telling me, like I said, he won't sit down for meals. He was difficult to control. They had to one-to-one him. Apparently, they were having one person allocated to him and sitting with him. And I'm thinking, in my head, as a professional, I'm thinking, what sort of child is he if they're having to have one person allocated to him to sit with him all the time? I had meetings upon meetings with them about him, and every day it was one thing after another, because I was trying to get a picture and a sense of what he does over there. At one point when I challenged them, they said to me, oh, we had another kid here who was the same, would come to nursery and was different, but would go home and is completely different and all that stuff, and we had to video him to show the parents for them to believe. I was like, I don't want you to video my child, but I know the kind of mother that I am. I know the kind of home that I am in. My children are not seeing me being hit or me hitting somebody. There's no aggression around us. There is nothing untoward happening around us. How can my child be one person at home and completely different, like 1,000% different when he's in nursery? I want to know what's happening in the nursery. I even offered to come and spend a day in the nursery, hidden somewhere, just so that I can watch him. They didn't agree. Anyway, so this went back and forth. They wanted me to agree for them to refer my son to this specialist, what was support. I said no, because I am not convinced that is my child. And what the things that they said aggravated him in the nursery, I tried to sort of do the same at home. So I tried to set the same scenarios at home to see how he reacts. And he wasn't different to any child who is having an argument with a sibling and they're pushing each other or ruffling each other. I didn't see any signs of aggression or that he was underdeveloped or there was any underlying condition. And that's what they were trying to hit at, that there was some sort of underlying condition that I was probably in denial of. Like I said, I'm a no-nonsense mom. Therefore, I don't think that my son will need help, and I'll sit on it. For what? Really? It will be of no benefit to him, and it will be of no benefit to me in the long run. So this went on for so long. They even got a Senko. I don't know if it's the same for where you are, but these are like the specialist trained people that work with children. So they got a Senko to come and work with him one day or a couple of days, I think, in the nursery without my permission. And the Senko didn't find anything wrong with him. He read well, he behaved, and they claim that when the Senko was there, he wasn't his usual self. Okay. And what tipped me off was I got called one time to come and have a meeting. It was prearranged anyway. And then I got there that day. There were sort of some broken toys on the floor in the office. I didn't say anything about them, of course, because it wasn't my office. But then she then make reference to, oh, you see these broken toys on the floor. Oh, it was your son who broke them. My son broke these toys? Why? Why would he do that? I even went to the point to say that, is there someone in the nursery aggravating him? And I felt that there was a boy in the nursery who was Caucasian. I'm sorry, I'm not being racist here, but I felt that he had challenging behavior, but obviously he was liked. My son is that black boy that has to be aggressive, right? And they were saying that it was him, but I know there's something, because knowing my son, someone has to do something to him or have been pushing his buttons constantly for him to react. That it was my son who was the problem. No mention, because every time I go and pick them or we do this sort of stay and play and things like that, I watch because I'm trying to figure out what the hell is happening in the nursery. Because all the reports, I was beginning to have anxiety. Every time he used to finish at 3. Every time it was 3 o'clock, my heart starts palpitating. If I'm at work, I had to set an alarm on my phone so that 3 o'clock I know to ring whoever was picking him up, if it wasn't me, to say, is he okay? What did they say today? If it was me, I literally dreaded going to pick him. Have you ever seen any professionals that are constantly giving negative feedback? Well, it's that nursery. They gave constant negative feedback. I give feedback in my work, but we know that we don't have to give negative feedback all the time. But not with that nursery. It was just so constant. It was making me ill. I had to decide to take him out. So I didn't have any other nursery. He was going there with his sister. I didn't have any other plans. There was no plan B. There was nothing. I said to myself, for my sanity, for the safety of my own children, I need to take them out of that nursery. Besides, I was paying. So it's nobody's damn business. So you know what? I sent her an email and I said, with effect from that day, my children are not coming to the nursery. Yes, I'm going to pay for a month because I need to give you a month notice, but my children are not going to the nursery. So I discussed with a friend and they said, oh, try the nursery at work. And the nursery at work, I had tried them so many times, but there wasn't any capacity for them. Anyway, I literally went there crying, begging, and they said, that's fine. I explained all the situation about, there's probably an underlying condition and there's this. And I'm like, I need people that I trust who can give me the right information, who can tell me what is happening with my son. Mind you, he was under a consultant. He was under a pediatrician. He's gone there for assessment on so many occasions and nobody has picked anything. He's gone to see the health visitors and no one has picked anything. But that blaming nursery, and it hurts my heart that I can't mention their name. It really breaks my heart that I can't tell you who they are. We're the only ones who saw something wrong with my son. So they were like, okay, a couple of us have had preterm kids, so we know how they are. Yes, they're grown, but we've had them, so we know how preterm kids are. So bring him to us, and we will make sure that we'll tell you, what he is and who he is. We'll give you a clear assessment. And I was like, great. And I work there and I trust them because obviously they're my colleagues. I don't work in the nursery. I work in a different department, but I know that how I would do for others is what they're going to do for me as well. So I took my son there and I sent all the reports, that progress